Okay, we're live.
Perfect. Welcome to our Thursday, June 4th, 2026 school board meeting, our regular meeting of the board. We'll begin with introductions, starting over with Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle. Janelle McKinnon. Megan Carlson. Ella Crook.
Tony Veet.
Becky Fless. Molly Rogers.
Dan Coates.
Kira Blodgett. Kate Merrill.
Barry Manning. Jeff Hanley.
Administrative staff.
Katie Gould, Superintendent.
Jerry McGuire, Director of Technology.
Sarah Bolduc, Director of Special Services. Christina Levine, Principal at Laura E. Richards School.
Vicky Duguay, Principal at Riverview Community School.
Nate Stubbard, Athletic Director.
Lauren Arnold, Principal at Gardner Area High School.
And that's it. Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's nice to have a full room for the pledge. Great. So one last chance, public comment. Okay. Review and approval of agenda minutes, prioritization of items and alteration of the established agenda format sequence as needed. No adjustment? Okay. Approval of the agenda, motion please.
So moved.
Second by Molly, Tony and Molly. Approval of minutes of previous meetings, regular board meeting of May 7th, meeting with the municipal officials on May 18th, and the special board meeting budget hearing on May 26th. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Jeff and Michelle. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carries. Recognition and celebration.
I think we skipped actually the.
Special budget meeting. Board meeting, budget hearing.
Oh.
Do that one?
Sorry.
We kind of bundled this
Bundled
agenda
it, right,
and
approval
the
of minutes
minutes
of the
into
previous
one.
meetings. Yeah, I did, and I did say budget hearing on May 26th.
Oh, that was all of them.
Okay, we just bundled them.
Okay.
But thank you. Okay, recognition and celebrations. Kira, budget. What are you thinking going on with your life?
I'm sad I'm leaving the board.
Yeah.
But you need to go on with your life.
Need to go.
If you don't go on with your life, you can't come back and tell us how wonderful it is. So
So true.
thank you so much for all you've done for me. Thank you, Kara. Also, we have Molly Rogers, who is going to leave us. And Kate Merrill. So I want to thank you, Molly, for your years of service. I've known you for such a long time. I'll miss you. And the board will miss you, your great questions and your attention to detail, commas and periods and all that stuff. So thank you. You're welcome. Feel free to always come back. Yeah. And Kate, for the months of service that you've been with us. We really appreciate your service and your willingness to serve no matter what. And easy or not, you're here and we've loved having you and thank you so much for serving.
Thank you guys very much. And yeah, I just want to say I appreciate everything that has happened and I feel very grateful for the opportunity. Thanks.
Feel free to come back if and when it works. Sam Robeson, JMG specialist.
Yes, so Sam Robeson has JMG specialist at Gardner Regional Middle School, has been selected as one of the Unum Starting 9 JMG specialists. This is a well-deserved recognition, and Sam will be celebrated at an upcoming Sea Dogs game.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, really exciting. And one hot off the press, actually maybe two hot off the press, our athletic director asked to share, if it wasn't too late, that our middle school girls track and field team won the Capital Area League championship for the second consecutive year.
That's amazing.
And
Talk about the draft.
Uh-huh.
This just happened about 20 minutes ago.
Our middle school baseball team beat Coney 14-4 to advance to the Capital Area League Championship game.
So instead of a boot, did they get a glove?
There's no boots.
That's, well, congratulations to our guys. That's awesome. Correspondence?
As written.
Committee reports. We have student presentations.
We do. We have student presentations. First up, I believe we have Riverview students presenting their trout project.
A trout project. Let's have it.
Good evening. So we have Duncan and Emmett and DJ who are here to present some information about our trout release program that we had with our fifth graders this year. One second, let's see.
Hi, my name's Emmett, and I'm here to tell you about the watershed. We learned with Miss Cami how big the Copsey watershed is and how it works. This is the students working together on a model of a watershed. The second photo is students dressed up in different plants, and the third photo is students playing a board game about trout survival. This is another photo of a watershed, and these two photos show students working on a model of a watershed. This photo is all about watersheds together. We simulated how things like pollution, pesticides, fertilizers, animal waste, and construction can impact people downstream.
Is there anything on the poster that you want to talk about? This poster.
This is the Cobbossee watershed map. And you can help by cleaning up trash along the riverbank. And yeah.
My name's Duncan, and in these three pictures, we are setting up a model to test how the bushes filter out the pollution. The bushes are represented by sponges. We use several different things to represent different types of pollutions. In these pictures, we are showing a Dobson fly, and these Dobson flies are known for their large size and being aquatic, although they are harmless. Miss Cami had us dress in these fun costumes that made everyone laugh, of different types of invasive plants that impact the water in the local watershed. We learned about how to keep an eye out for them and that it is important to check boats before putting them in different water.
In April, we went to Jamie's Pond to release trout. The trout were at the fry stage. We released them into the pond. Before releasing the fries, we talked about the area, the clarity of the water, the temperature of the water, and we tested the pH of the water. We got a couple fries in a cup and we put the trout in the water. We also learned about microinvertebrates. After talking for a bit, We got our supplies like a spoon and a bucket. Then we went looking for microinvertebrates. We looked under the rocks, under the bridge, and we found a lot of cool things. Then we dissected owl pellets. It was very fun. You could get bones from animals. Finally, we went on a walk and talked a lot about nature and trees. But for me, it was short. I really liked the trip.
Here's how, oh, it's lagging. Up there is how teeny tiny the little baby trout are when we release them. And while they're swimming away, we hope that we don't see them get gobbled up, but we released, do you remember how many we released into Jamie's pond? Well, you had 3 in your cup, but how many total as the whole 5th grade? Yeah, how many? 300. We raised 300. We didn't have very many that didn't make it this year in our tank in our classroom. So from egg all the way to release.
That is really cool.
We did have a video, but it's not working. So that's them saying goodbye to their fish, but.
Thanks for the effort.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions?
Yes, I want to know what was the costume, a few back in the middle, the dangerous, oh, right there. What's that dangerous thing that's in the water?
Yeah, this one that Libby's wearing. Oh, do you remember? Milfoil?
Milfoil, that, there's a lot of that around here.
Sure.
And what's the one in the top? On the left?
What costume? You don't remember? I don't remember that one either. There's like Eurasian milfoil and another kind of milfoil and lots of bad stuff.
Perfect, all kinds of bad stuff in the water.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I guess just, yeah, you sort of raised them in a tank from egg to the fry stage. What'd you feed them? Is it just like having?
Do you guys want to talk about it or you want me to talk about it? I can talk about it. So they actually don't need food for a really long time because they survive off their yolk sac. So we get them when they're what? What are they when Miss Cammy delivered them? Eyed eggs, right? You don't have to raise your hand, DJ. Okay, I appreciate it. So we get them when they're eyed eggs and then we have to look out and make sure that they're actually hatching. And if they turn white, we have to take them out of the tank because it means they could cause toxins to the rest of them. And then they hatch. And once they start moving around and looking for food, then we start feeding them. But we really only fed them. Our field trip was the week after April vacation. And I think we started feeding them the week of break.
Yeah.
So they really don't stay in our classroom long when they need a lot of care, but.
Yeah. And we have to make sure.
Would you feed them?
Just
fish food?
Just that.
When
Gross
they
smelly
are
stuff.
eggs and once they hatch, the kids actually were part of the process of measuring the temperature of the water, the pH balance, and just making sure that everything was okay for the eggs to be part of this different stages and stuff.
And we did have 1 2-headed fish this year. And it actually made it all the way through to release. It's happened the last couple of years, but this one actually lived, they named it Mario and Luigi. So we hope that they are moving free in Jamie's pond, probably.
In a 2-headed way.
Some are.
Wonder which head's in charge.
Did you learn about how many, once you release them at Jamie's Pond, how many do you expect to survive?
Like 200? 300? How many of you survived? So in your board game, they played a board game where they simulated hatching in a natural place and not a fish tank in a 5th grade classroom. And how many of you actually made it all the way to an adult in your board game?
First try.
So they drew cards that would have
Like, that you die
because of what?
because of quality.
Okay, the water quality was impacted, or what else, Duncan?
If there's shelter or not.
Okay, if you didn't have a place to hide. Construction was nearby, so they if they drew the card and it was something positive, they got to move to the next life cycle stage. Not many of them made it all the way through, and it helped them kind of realize that there's lots of things that have to be perfect for for things to grow up in the wild.
It's important to keep our water safe and good and clean. Nice. Any other questions?
Well, what was the difference in the temperature in water from the tank to the water?
Yeah, what temperature wasn't released for the fish at the pond, 60 something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like 65 degrees. We were really shallow, right? We talked about it being much colder way out deeper, but what was the temperature in the tank?
Really?
The last time you checked it, it was in the 40s. Pretty cold. Yeah, it was pretty cold.
It's like,
In the classroom?
Yeah, we hatch them and they live in the classroom.
Yeah, they're all insulated.
Yeah.
Things keep them cold. You guys are constantly checking.
We
the
went over
temperature.
vacation to make sure that the
Yes.
condenser
So
is
you
still
want to
working.
keep them cold.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's styrofoam around
not like
the enclosure.
Yep, there's styrofoam around the tank.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I figured it was just like normal fish tank.
Right.
No, we're very high
temperature
water.
Very cool.
Yeah. Good job, guys. Want to keep your script?
Yes. Great job. Next is Day of Caring.
So I'm tapping Ella and Kira, they're gonna join me. And then we have Isaac here, which you're gonna get to meet him tonight, and he's gonna have one. Wow, over there. Yep, come on up. Carry the screens a lot. Sometimes you know. Do the one.
You go to the everything up.
Smells good in here.
There we go. Right. Okay. So Day of Caring is a day where we partner with United Way and our students perform service opportunities in the community. So when I came back to Gardner, we brought it back. So we started with sending just our seniors out the last 2 years. And this year was the first year we sent the whole school out. So we wanted to build that capacity back up. One of our school goals this year is how do we connect our students to school, but also to the community. So our thought process around Day of Caring was really to give back to our community. So all of our service projects were in the MSAD11 community. So we covered projects at all schools in the district. We sent a group to the Gardner Public Library, Gardner Head Start, the Alzheimer's Center. We did projects for the city of Gardner, the rail trail, Pittston Fairgrounds, the bus depot, the Kennebec Land Trust, where they learned a little bit about the environment, but also remove some invasive plants, and the West Gardner Town Office. So I'm going to turn it over to the students to share a little bit about their experience. They can tell you where your project was, kind of what you did. And I'll go through the pictures.
For my project, I stayed at the high school and with my homeroom, because we were in our homeroom groups, we worked on filling potholes with like some quick tar, and we tampered it down. And so we did that. And then once we finished with our potholes, like the bags that we had, we didn't get to tackle the big ones, but we did the most we could with the bags. We went around and we picked up trash from like the ditches, like the beside the parking lot, around the school, like outside of it, around the tennis courts. We kind of all like split up and went like through the field to try and like look through stuff. And so we picked up a lot of trash.
My advisory group, along with a few others, went to the middle school, and my advisory group helped to stain the picnic tables that are outside, up and keep them there. And then we finished a little early, so we walked back to the high school and helped out different teachers where we could there.
My group went to one of the elementary schools and what I did was we did a bunch of gardens and raked like little, there's a picture of me up there, but like I was raking these like little flower bed things. And we made a lot of progress, but it took a long time. And then some of the other people in my advisory group went out to read to the kids and play with the kids a little bit. And then we eventually all came back and just were weeding flower beds.
And we had students who did a car wash, so we partnered with
yeah.
all of the local law enforcement, and they sent all of their vehicles through. Our life skills program took their tiger treats and did a bake sale. And then we partnered with, different, like the Alzheimer's Center, and a lot of our students actually left Day of Caring with volunteer opportunities. So, we had a really strong group that went to the Alzheimer's Center that are going back to volunteer in their own time. And then we had a group that really enjoyed the Boys and Girls Club, and are now gonna volunteer. So a lot of cool opportunities came out of it. So they were out probably about 2.5, 3 hours performing community service. And then they came back to the high school and we put on a big barbecue and we had our guitar club playing on the little trailer. So they were serenading the group. The students ate lunch on the front yard. And it was really cool because the United Way helped serve the food. EJP provided the grills. Our lovely nutrition staff kind of helped put it all together. And then we spent kind of the last hour of school kind of doing fun activities to connect everyone as a group. So we had a water slide set up. We had kickball tournaments. We had water balloons, an open mic in the theater.
That was really good where people like sang or they did jokes. And then there was also like Mr. Jenkins was in the ATM room and he was showing Jurassic Park. And then there was like coloring and like a bunch of like fun little activities to do across the school. It was really good.
Yeah, so it was a really fun day. And I think, I mean, what we appreciated as staff is the students worked really hard. We didn't see any kids on their phones. We might have a few here and there, but they worked very hard. And the feedback from all the community members was like, I'm so impressed with your kids and we will take them back anytime. And I actually have a few reaching out to offer some more community service hours and opportunities. So it was really good to make those connections and to give back to the community.
That's great.
Any questions?
Any questions?
What did you do at the town office, the West Gardner?
Yeah, so they helped some move some heavy stuff inside and then they did some like outdoor work, like raking, and then they did the corner store as well.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're pretty busy up there.
I love Day of Caring. I was really excited for this to come back and I was like, Freya, it's gonna be awesome. I was like really into it. She was like, oh, okay. No, I'm so glad that it's back. It's fun to just drive around and like bump into groups of kids around town. Yeah.
We leftover shirts. Anybody want
I had such a great time. I really enjoyed that we were all kind of together again, like on the field. I feel like at school, since we have 3 different like lunches now too, that like you're separated from your friends and a lot, or like it's like scheduling conflicts. But like this, we were like all together enjoying our hamburgers, eating, and they gave us Oreos. And we were just in the sun in the heat. We got to watch them. It was so nice.
Yeah. And we were able to flex from May 1st, which was our original date, and it rained that week. So everything still came together. The projects worked. So it was really good.
Awesome.
So to the students, how would you really pitch this to incoming high school students? What are the highlights? What do you think that incoming high schoolers need to know about why Day of Caring is an awesome thing that's happening here?
I think this community is really important, and I think it just brings our community so much closer together when there's like the high school kids are just going everywhere. And then at the end of it, us all like hanging out together and having fun together is just really helpful for school spirit and school community.
And I think the younger students at the elementary schools were like, this is one of the best days ever. Like they really look up to all of you.
I saw your friends today. Like I saw these people and I thought it was really cute.
Boys and Girls Club kids were like, when can we have them back? They're our favorite.
It also really helps grow your teamworking skills with working with people you might not work with otherwise, even if they're in your homeroom and you see them every day.
Yeah, I feel like we really kind of like also learned some new skills. Like I wouldn't normally be filling potholes and like I've never done it before and I learned a life skill and
You learned a life skill.
Yeah, I mean, it was also fun because I've never had my advisee as a teacher before, my advisor as a teacher before, so it was kind of fun getting to spend more time with him. Cause like, you know, it's been 3 years and I've never had a class with him, so it's kind of different to see him like in more of a teaching role, like out there with the tan bag. And he was like, this is what we're doing, guys. And then we were like sweeping the tar, cause I guess you need to do that when you're filling a pothole.
And our hope is if you've been to our class day, we'll have less speeches where they're like the craters and potholes in the parking lot.
Yeah, like we worked on them. And we got like a system down where we had like opening the bags, pouring, and we had like people getting ready, we had a wheelbarrow.
That was a really good idea of whoever came up with that.
Yeah, the bags were 50-pound bags though, so like we were all just. I came out kind of jacked. I did. I was looking toned the next day.
I believe it. You look so toned.
They worked hard and it was a warm day.
Look at those guns.
It was a hot day,
Yeah.
but like, it was kind of fun.
It was
'cause
nice,
You
yeah.
don't spend like the school day outside that
Right.
much, and it was.
We were
like,
outside
it was
all day.
fun. Yeah.
Thank you. Did you get dirty?
I got some tar on me, but like I washed it off.
And then they got wet and they were hosed off. And
Did people really do the slip and slide?
Yeah.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that many.
Yeah, it was fun.
Getting sprayed.
I know, that was a really good.
Well, they were covered in soap. You gotta rinse it, you know?
Yeah.
That was my next question. Did you put soap on it? Cause
Mr.
then.
Harris is adamant we were getting a slip inside.
Yeah, and then they had water balloons, which was fun. I didn't get to do that one because it was like, it was so hot that I was like, I'm not trying to get soaking wet too, but like, we got like nice cold waters and stuff, and like, we only went in once with my advisory so that we could wash the tar off. So it was nice and like,
So I'd say all our facilities are looking quite nice now.
yeah, I felt like we also made a big difference. My homeroom's joking that we put in the most care and we put in the most love into those potholes, you know? Like a regular pothole person would fill the pothole with like tar, but we filled it with love and care.
Brilliant.
Which is more than if we just hired someone. I felt like it benefited as a, you know?
It's gonna last until we can afford to repave it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much love and care in those potholes, kids, they're gonna
So
last a little bit
much.
longer.
Perfect, we'll just do that with everything.
Save some money.
Love and care in it, it's gonna last forever.
Care and love into it, and it'll last.
You keep telling yourself. There's truth in it. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for caring. All right. CATC, no meeting. Curriculum committee?
That's usually my guy, I think.
Yeah.
And Angela's absent as well, so.
I was probably there and I don't remember it.
I remember, didn't we get testing results? I don't remember.
I don't remember it, I'm sorry. I can look at the agenda, what
Maybe
Yeah,
look at the
what the
minutes.
minutes were and
Yeah,
try
that would
and.
be a good idea.
And we can
And we were
also,
very engaged in the conversation.
we can also remind people that it's online on our
Right,
website.
right.
You
Yes.
can watch it in almost real time, it's happening.
The ESEA allocation review and staffing model
Yep,
proposal
that's
for the
right.
school year.
Yep.
So Angela shared Title
Title
1,
funding
2, 3, 4, and
Yes.
5 funding allocations for next year. Oh, you've got it, Megan, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead, you're
No,
way
you're-
better
go ahead.
at this than me, that's all
We
we
were
did,
so
yeah.
confused. Like, it was just, it took a lot for Angela to explain quite a bit to us. So,
I definitely can understand
but yes, if
that.
you would like to speak to the funding part of it.
And there was a motion to recommend a staffing model that shifts 2 Title I literacy edtech positions into 1 Title I literacy interventionist position at LER and maintains all other full-time positions.
That's right. We went through several iterations of that, to figure out what would be better. Different staffing combinations. So we did that quite a bit.
Nice. All right. Thank you, everyone.
I think that for me, there've been a lot of meetings lately with a lot of numbers, a lot of data sheets. So sorry, I didn't remember what we talked
Oh,
about.
yeah,
but
no, I don't
so
remember. I
Data
mean,
sheets are hard to remember.
It's a lot. I
Lots of
mean,
information.
title
Yeah.
a lot
one,
of
2, 3,
numbers.
4, right? I mean, and moving things. And so I would recommend that if anybody has questions about those things, absolutely, that's a great meeting to go watch. Because it's only an hour long.
It's true. Strictly an hour.
2X, yeah, speed it up.
Dropout prevention did not meet. Finance committee. We talked about what we were gonna do in the budget meeting. And it was pretty brief, barely an hour. Policy?
So we met right before the last board meeting and went over something that we kind of continued tonight, and actually we have a request to the board to waive a second reading on 2 of the policies you see listed. One being the EBBD, which is temperature standards for schools, which is a new statutory requirement in the state of Maine, so that schools have minimum temperature standards for students, and we worked on that this year, and have that now need to have that active in place. So we're looking to waive the second reading as we go through. The same is also true, the request for the waiving the second reading. A new statutory requirement is that there's now expected to be a bell-to-bell cell phone ban in every school in the state of Maine. So every school district, every school. What we've done is actually go through our existing policy that we had worked on last summer and fall in particular, and had a lot of community input on. Taking the spirit of the law, which is actually a pretty streamlined, just 3 or 4 sentences maybe, on what those new expectations on the ban are, and map that into the policy we've been using this year. So we just met and discussed it in our meeting immediately previous to this the full board meeting. And what we'd like to do is have that also come forward with a request to waive the second reading for that. I guess Superintendent, if you can check me, the bell-to-bell cell phone ban is required to be in place by August 1st. And we traditionally don't meet in July, so we want to get it done for this meeting. So by August 1st, it's active. The temperature standards is similar. We need to have it in place for.
Yeah, the temperature standards for schools, we actually moved that through policy earlier this year. I want to say this winter, and it just never made it onto the agenda for you all. So that is sort of old news, but unfinished business. And that, because of the challenges statewide of aging buildings and the fact that we're never going to get every pocket of air to be 70 degrees, or the language really acknowledges a range of temperatures and requires that staff are making adjustments when things get cold or hot in buildings. And those are things that we do now. If it's really hot in upstairs classrooms, we'll find a downstairs location to have the lesson or the class to compensate. And then as far as the bell-to-bell phone ban, you have a paper copy of that in your packets. As Tony said, there was a sample policy that was brought before policy, an MSMA sample policy, and it included much more than is required in the language that was part of the governor's supplemental budget. So what we've opted to do instead is stick to the policy that we developed with stakeholder input, feedback, participation. And we have modified the language there. So it is most familiar because it's the policy we know and live now, and complies with the governor's intent in signing that into law. Like I said, you have it in front of you, and we're looking to have that approved tonight so that it's in place for August 1st. We also recognize you'll be looking for some feedback, and we need to live it and also reflect additional language and implications in each building handbook that you'll see in the fall. And so we're not finished talking about that, but it would be best to have it in place for August 1st.
So I guess I'd like for this part, if I could make a motion to the board that we approve approve these two policies and waive the second reading so that they're immediately active.
I'll second the motion.
Want to amend the motion? Can we vote on these separately? I move to separate these into two separate votes.
Okay with that. So I would have said temperature standards first, EBBD, and then JC as the second.
I'll second that.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
So EBBD, right? Yeah.
Okay, got it. Motion carries. And cell phones.
Can I ask a question or clarification? Did you say to be active immediately?
Or
The policy goes in place immediately?
Yeah.
for August first, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
I think you said immediately,
Yeah,
so I'm just
thank you for
wondering if it's
checking.
changing the
Yeah.
policy for the rest of the school year or just beginning next school year?
For August first, yeah.
Okay.
I mean.
I think, yeah, that's standing there. So any further discussion on it?
Just a
Question?
question
Sure.
about it. I'm sorry, I didn't watch your meeting, but I'm seeing where it says they can be stored in backpacks, but then there's a device storage procedure. Is there a location they have to be stored?
Great question. And Katie, if you want to handle that or, yeah.
There might be. That's our existing language, and what we decided as an administrative team just this afternoon is to leave as much of the original language as possible. So it currently states that devices will be stored in backpacks, and there's language that says that they will be held in a storage container. We'd like to leave the language as is because the expectation is that it's put away. And that might look different at the elementary level as opposed to the middle school level, the high school level. The bottom line is, if the phone is seen, it's a violation and the phone is taken, or the device. But that could look like a cubby area, a locker, a container in a classroom. At this time, we are not purchasing containers or locking mechanisms for phones. But we are expecting that they are put away and off for the school day, from the start of the school day upon the bell to the end of the bell. So that is current language that will maintain.
Okay,
That will
so does designated holding container include backpack?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did we actually, did we do a motion to bring this bell-to-bell cell ban forward already? I think.
Yes, that was part of that.
Okay, I guess I missed when you said that. Okay, so my comments, the reason I wanted to separate them was we could have discussions about both of them differently. We had those of the community that were really upset when we brought this cell phone change last fall, I think it was. So I just wanted to have that, I wanted to separate it so we could talk specifically about this. I just don't want members of the community to believe that we are doing this. I want an opportunity for, I mean, there are many, obviously our cell phone policy does include students with special needs, but this was a bill passed by the legislature that we are obligated to comply with. It's not something that we are necessarily choosing to do because we did work quite extensively and did take advice from the community for what we did last year. So that's really why I wanted to separate them. And so I really invite that the public, if they have questions, they should be asking us, but this was not something that we chose to do independently. So.
Yes, yeah. And one of the reasons that we stuck with the policy that we had generated that has been working fairly effectively this year, because we did have so much community input. We wanted to, like, we have a perfectly good document here. The biggest change is probably to the high school, the policy is now very clear that any student in a K-12 program will not present their phone or device during the school day. And so that adds that clarity there. But yeah, we had done that work with so many people. And right, there were some concerns there. And that's part of where we're like, hey, we have a thing that's working, and so the backpack or whatever these designated containers are gonna be. Right now, we wanna see how effective this process is. It's been okay so far. If we have to purchase the device holders or whatever, that can run some tens of thousands of dollars or more, depending. So we wanna be mindful of, hey, let's work with what we did come to, an agreement on, and then and see where it goes, and maintain our costs that way. But yes, this is very much related to, there is a statute that is requiring us to do this.
That Governor Mills just signed into law this past week. Yeah. So,
Yes.
yep,
Correct.
so.
I have not read the law, but does it specifically say smartwatches and?
Yes.
Yeah.
It basically, the whole intention of the law is to stop any distractions in the school day. The law does provide, I believe, for the exceptions for IEPs, if someone has a phone to measure their blood sugars, things like that, it does allow for that, but the intention of the law is to stop any distraction. And our community had a really good conversation about that, whether what constitutes distraction.
Right.
So unfortunately, the legislature has overruled, in a way, our community communication. So I really just want the community to be aware of that that's not stuff that we're taking ourselves. So.
Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a work in progress. I'm gonna allow the teachers on an individual basis to determine how to secure the classroom and, and learn from those experiences, what works best. I mean, it might be a tabletop, right, that you could set everything on. Is that?
At this time, our preference would be that we don't see the phone, that it is tucked away, it is off and in the backpack for the day.
Okay.
And what we'll really do our best to do, because I think it will be critical to the success of this for all students, is be consistent. So if that is the expectation, then that is the expectation building wide, without individual nuances to the policy or enforcement from classroom to classroom.
Okay, I wanted to get clarity on that. Okay.
And what families can expect and students can expect is further communication. So at the elementary level, where again, it's less of an issue, but it certainly it will be in effect, clarification and detail in the student handbook about what this looks like. Likewise for middle school and at the high school level.
Yes, Janelle.
There were state allocated funds for the doings of the new policy. Do we?
Like for holding containers and
Right,
things like
yeah,
that?
so if we're deciding not to purchase any sort of containers or anything, do we still get the funds or where do the funds go?
We do have an allocation. Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, it's around $4,000?
For the whole district?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how many
And I think
containers
that's
would
why
that
we had
buy?
discussed not buying any, because Morse was 40,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I looked it up the other day and like a Yonder, like neighbor in Yonder. County,
Yes,
it's like
yep.
$25 per student and like added up with like 540 people that would use it. It would be around like $3,400 somewhere in that ballpark. I don't quite remember. I also had a question.
Yes.
It said about the other personal electronic communication tools, personal computers or entertainment devices. For the personal computers, does that limit kids who the school provides with a Chromebook, but I know a lot of seniors also try and like start, like they invest in their own laptop so that they have all their school stuff on it for like when they do application season and stuff as well. Does that limit that? As long as also like, I know some students that are in Upward Bound are provided with like a MacBook or something that they use for their schooling as well. Does that just mean like no, or is like, I'm just a little bit confused on that thing.
The permission and the usage will be the school issued device during the school day from bell to bell. Mrs. Arnold visited Morse High School, where this has been in place for 2 years. They've experienced a great deal of success. They've been generous in offering us additional visits, access to the resources and the communication that they've used in their community. Again, it's a different community. We want to be mindful of that. But this exact issue came up. And so Mrs. Arnold, can you tell us a little bit about how that one high school and that one system is handling
Yep.
that question?
So we were lucky to attend this week. Me, Mr. Soto, Ms. Bischoff went, and we got to watch the students come in and arrive to the school, and we got to hear presentations where we heard from the students, the administrators and the staff on how it was working. And in terms of like laptops specifically, they're actually looking at adding the MacBooks to the ban because they're finding that students are on the iMessage function and are using it as a texting. So they actually treat the iMessage as like a cell phone violation, but the students are kind of expressing what you've expressed. So that's a piece that they're pursuing and looking at policy wise, but they are adding iPads to their policy as a ban.
I was just wondering, because I know like my Chromebook,
Yeah.
she has some issues, you know?
She's
been through it.
well loved. She's well cared for.
And I think Mrs. Arnold provides us with another example or a reminder that even 2 years in, we're going to continue to encounter challenges and need to troubleshoot and tweak our policy in response to what is best for our students and our needs. So
And we left
appreciate
like
that.
it was heartwarming to see all of the students connecting, to be engaged. We didn't see one phone. The students were sharing that like we weren't a fan of this at first, but like our social skills have improved, our like attention span has improved. I'm meeting my friends in the hallway. We're using our time in class and study hall more effectively. We're making social connections with people we wouldn't normally talk to. They're kind of joking that they went back to the 90s almost. So some students started bringing Walkmans and making mixtapes. But just the atmosphere in that school was so different, and it was really like heartwarming to see like that like real human connection. Like they would look you in the eyes, they'd talk to you, and they're like, we just really like have learned so much from this. And as students, they're like, yeah, as soon as school's over, I check my phone, but I'm noticing I'm using it less at home because I don't need it every day. And so they've realized that they've been able to like kind of have less addiction almost to the device.
Absolutely.
And they do use the pouches, and it was really like interesting to see their perspective of like the pouches were helpful because it still gives the device to the student. But really they're like, as long as we don't see the phone, we don't push it. So if you came to school and you're like, I don't have my phone today, we're gonna trust that as long as it doesn't come out and I don't see it, hear it. It was really eye-opening.
Do you think at our high school that we would need some sort of pouches, or do you think that the students would?
I think it might be helpful. It is costly, but there are some grants that we've heard about that we want to maybe look into. I like that the students all were responsible for their own pouch, their own device. And as a parent, I think that would help our parents understand that the phone's still on the student. And in a case of emergency, they could easily still open it. But at the same time, like if a student could reasonably keep it in their backpack, I think the battle becomes when we have to take it. And also like as a high school perspective, I don't quite want to be liable for 500 phones in the office. And so a lot of our students, the struggle comes when I have to physically take that device. So if they were able to keep it in their bag or their car, no issue. But the pouch was really helping the more students to have like a system and a consistent system across all classrooms. And they do it 612.
I'm sorry. The pouch just like deactivates the cellular aspect of it, so it can't receive.
They can't see it, yeah. So it's in a pouch, it's closed, it's a cloth pouch, it's really well padded. You can't see your phone in it. And it's magnet, so they have these big magnets throughout the school and one outside the school where the students come in and they can just hit the magnet and it's open. So one magnet can serve like 120 students within a few minutes to open the pouch. So as students came in, they said, do you have your phone? The student said yes or no, and they would open their pouch, put it in, and it was like really seamless.
I had talked with Miss Bischoff and she had also mentioned that they kind of elevated like the disciplinary stuff to like just like you see a phone admin, so then it kind of like makes it easier for a teacher and it's not that much pushback on that.
Yep, and they were really consistent. They had a 4-step consequence. So the first one was like, you know, you address it, it's an hour detention, it's logged. The second one is the same. They take the phone, it stays in the office. The third one, you like have a 3 hour, your phone has to stay in the office now, your pouch gets turned in. And the fourth one unfortunately was a suspension. And they said they really now they have 3 to 5 cell phone violations a week for 610 students. And it's mostly repeat offenders. They said we don't really see any new violations. And they said that the parent calls to school have decreased. They do use the email so they can allow the parent to have the chat function on the email. So if they need to reach the student, they either call the office or go through the email. And they said they really have noticed that parents are starting to like really respect that there's no devices and like cut down the communication during the day, but the kids are accessible should the parent need anything. Yeah. No, go ahead.
I could probably ask you in our own.
That's fine.
Time, 'cause I know people wanna go home. But I was also wondering about like the sports, cause I know like Team Reach, it's like,
Yeah.
and like throughout the day, it can like change on a whim almost, for like, if it starts raining, then it's like games canceled and then yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, so for the athletics, they said that they were using the email a lot. Students started using their email a lot more since the phones weren't there. But they would use communications through the school, like announcements and frequent updates.
That's what we'll have to do more of, is just make announcements in school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the 90s.
Sounds so familiar.
All the 90s.
And Mrs. Arnold, one last question. Thank you for all of the
No, it was really
information you're
exciting. I
providing.
left being like, I feel way better about this.
There
after seeing
was
it
discussion during your visit about the anxiousness, not only the family feeling anxious about not having that contact, but the student feeling anxious about not having as a mechanism for communication in the moment at all times. Can you speak to that just briefly?
Yeah, so they really worked with law enforcement and like mental health professionals and like pediatric doctors on you know, like how would we help students who maybe use their phone for different anxiety related purposes. And they were able to find that they could meet every accommodation and need that the student had through their Chromebook use. And the students really use the office phone when they need to, or the email function. So the parents still had access to their students through email or the office phone. And parents were really starting to respect that their kids learning and they're in school. And so I have 2 modes to communicate, but I can reach them easily if I need to. So they really have found that parent concerns have drastically decreased since it's been implemented.
Thanks.
I'm happy to answer any more questions if anything else comes up. But it's really
Thank you.
I need the question.
Yeah.
Any questions about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Motion second. All those in favor? Perfect. Opposed? None. We're good. Nothing.
right, that's those two, and then I think I've got. Sorry, I just lost track of it for 1 second. We have a job description that is second, yeah. We have a job description, which is just kind of updating, so school-based mental health professional, reflecting changes in the type of licensure that people might have in that position. So one of them being the LCSW, the other being LCPC, but there are a couple other designations that could fit if we hired somebody with that. And you know, that list is available, but just to kind of recognize that it's not just school social workers, it's LCPCs and LCSWs. And then I think LMFTs, licensed marriage and family therapists, can also be in that, fit in there. So we're updating that job description. And then we have the inclusion specialist, which relates specifically to special education inclusion and is part of, actually, I guess, Sarah, if you share a little bit on just, we're at the second reading for this, I think.
Yes.
And so the DOE has information about special services and inclusive education, and I guess that's what.
My office serves under the Office of Inclusive Education at the state level, absolutely. So our inclusion specialists work K-12. Several years ago, we sat with our special education team and we're experiencing challenges filling positions. So we identified that something we could do is take paperwork and other associated responsibilities off the plate of special educators. They could spend more time with students instead of doing achievement testing, observations of students, which are required as part of the reevaluation process. And instead of doing all of the paperwork associated with meetings, special educators could spend their time with students, teaching students. They still do progress monitoring, they still write goals, they still attend IEP meetings, they still have communication and collaboration with families and school-based team members. But another special educator, an inclusion specialist, is doing that paperwork. Additionally, special educators used to facilitate IEP meetings. So they'd have to prepare for the IEP meeting. All the documentation associated with that, they'd have to facilitate that, they'd have to take notes, they'd have to do the written notice, the IEP, all of those pieces. And now the inclusion specialist does all of those pieces as well. When we crafted those positions, we also crafted them with a layer of being the LEA representative at those meetings. So what that means is they're charged, they need administrative certification for that, and they're charged with making a decision, knowing the laws, and making a decision in the event that the team can't reach a decision collectively. It's a heavy weight. We take that very seriously here. So they carry that role as well. And in places where we might have challenges filling positions, they can wear a hat in a meeting. It could be the administrative hat or the special educator hat. So in places where we continue to have some challenges filling positions, they're able to step into either role in those meetings, and someone else can serve the other one to support the process.
So just to kind of update, I know we've had a lot of discussion around what the position does and how we created it. And obviously to kind of shift some of the workload or create a balance with what special education teachers are doing. And how we can take some of the administrative burden off of them and put it into this other position. So we are at our second reading for that. And what I'd like to do is put a motion forward to enact those two job descriptions.
A second.
Any further discussion or comments?
Yes. Say it now so I don't say it later. The word inclusion specialist is quite a buzzword that is being misinterpreted as having something to do with DEI. And I'm that curious person that just calls the DOE because I want to understand where that came from. And the first person I spoke with said, "Oh, that must be something your district made up." And I said, "No, I don't think so. I think that you should check on that." And her response was, "Well, if that's something that is in need of adjustment, would you like it if we pulled a group of people together to change that word?" She said, does it have something to do with DEI in your district? And no, absolutely not. It's about including, and if you look on the special services page of the DOE, it actually talks about inclusion. So it really is something that is a buzzword, and it could be changed to something that is less triggering for people and more vanilla. So
More specific, more accurate and.
Yeah.
And telling.
And what it really is for.
What they thinking it means, you just live with it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
isn't
what I
it our
think.
job to educate people
Yeah.
on things like this? And rather than like kind of, I don't know if pander is the proper word, but pander toward sort of a buzzword or trigger word because it's a trend or it's a current right now as opposed to later. I mean, I think that is sort of
I think
our
that
job to make sure people understand what the position is regardless of how they see the word. So.
I think that it is a triggering word, it is a buzzword right now. I also think it's a very vague word. The conclusion specialist is very vague. It doesn't give the community inaccurate perception of what this is. It's also a very expensive position, and so there are many people who are objecting to this position because of how much the salary is. And so I don't think it's pandering. I think it's finding an accurate name for this position. And I think it is basically having the community build trust that we are being transparent in what this position does and does not entail. So that's why I would personally like to change that name. And just have the community understand, because it doesn't do us any good as a board if our community is fighting over the name of positions that we're voting on.
I wonder what the population of that actually is, because it seems like there's stuff you might see on social media, and then there's the community outside of that. And I don't know if there's enough information really questioning the name necessarily, or the title of the position, but since it's under the special education program, then that to me indicates that it's not under DEI. It's not, it's part of that, teaching area and with IEP and everything else. So
I just think our community has been, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Megan and then Molly.
So when somebody had a question for me about this, I Googled it. And it led me to the Department of Education, the state's website, and it explained what an inclusion specialist was. I believe that the people who named it that, who are the professionals who are dealing with this on a daily basis, who understand exactly what that position entails, I don't see any reason to change it. I understand that people have a problem with it, and I do believe that that is their problem. I'm sorry that sounds horrible, but I did Google it and the information was there. So I do feel like kind of what Kate's saying, there hasn't really been any evidence to prove that there isn't valid explanation of this position, and that people from our district haven't stood up and spoken to it at length. If people do not understand what this position is for, or why we are paying somebody who can be an expert on this one particular thing, I mean, they're educated people. I do feel like it's unnecessary to change it.
Okay. Molly.
The motion on the table is just to approve a job description, including the name. I understand that would be important, but the job description of a position that we've already hired multiple people as. So is this the time to be changing the name?
So we really can't change the name because it is what it is at the DOE. I mean, Tony's on the website right now. It's right there.
Call the question.
So we can call the question, and whether it gets changed or not, excuse me. It's not for us to change, but I do know that it's a trigger word, and probably the most important thing is that our community understands that children with special needs have very specific needs, and that there is a specialist, that the inclusion specialist is hired, they're a special ed teacher, and they're hired at the scale that they are on. And they might be on step 1, they might be on step 17. It really depends what step they're on in their teacher contract, special ed teacher contract, and then beyond that, there's a stipend for it. So understanding provides knowledge, and I think it really becomes incumbent on us as board members to explain it the very best way we can. And if the DOE decides to talk about that she is gonna call me back, the person from the DOE is gonna call me back, and we'll have a little conversation about that. But to Molly's point, and to Kate's and Michelle's point also, it's a triggering word. And what we need to do right now is vote on the policy.
I think, Molly called the question, right?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
yeah. So, we have the motion second, called the question, all in favor. So we have the two positions listed for the second reading. So all in favor of those two descriptions.
Thank you. And let's just be sensitive about it. Sensitive and smart.
And Just a couple more. We have a policy GER, which is the manual for policy GE, which talks about how non-unionized personnel, which is primarily central office staff, are able to negotiate. And then we also have, well, let's do, if I could, I'd like to make a motion to advance that policy through the second reading.
Second.
Further discussion?
Second.
Yeah, any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor? And opposed? Okay, and just one more for the policy committee, thank you so much. So the handbook, the pre-K student handbook, actually for this year, I know we're finishing up, and that one had slipped away from us. I think we'll be more on top of it for next year, but just to have that in place to finish out the year. So motion to approve the pre-K student handbook.
Second.
All right, motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All right. Any opposed? All right, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm done.
You're done. So no wellness committee, no school-based health center, and student reps.
Okay, starting off with our club updates. Interested National Honor Society juniors applied for officer positions and were recently awarded the new positions for the upcoming school year. NHS wants to say a huge thank you to Goggins Supermarket for allowing them to tag, which helped them raise enough money to form a $500 scholarship with a couple hundred left over. The Gardner Rotary Club celebrated the accomplishments of the Interact and Early Act clubs last Thursday, recognizing their community service projects completed during the 2025 to 2026 school year. The GAHS Interact Club presented LL Bean blue backpacks and Early Act pins to Early Act students in recognition of their dedication, leadership, and commitment to serving the community, which Mr. Soto was very excited. It got to say that they were in love with the bags and they were rocking their swag. Senior Interact members were honored with graduation cords and gifts from Rotary in recognition of their years in service of leadership. The Interact Club is currently preparing for Step Up Day and looks forward to welcoming and engaging incoming freshmen. Hopefully those Early Act follow through, you know. A note from Mrs. Soto says that thanks to the generosity of community donors and supporters, the Tiger Food Pantry will remain open for most Mondays throughout the summer. The Tiger Food Pantry summer schedule will be released next Monday and will be available on the district website, which is amazing. And the French Club will have its end of year celebration tomorrow morning, and Latin Club officers are passing the torch to the new ones. And that's all I got for you right now. Kiki.
And then.
Oh, this is our last one.
But under non-senior stuff, underclassmen finals are starting soon, start on Monday, if I'm correct, right?
Wait, Tuesday.
Underclassmen start on Tuesday?
Oh, nope.
I think they're all week.
I forgot I'm
It's
not
all-
underclassmen.
Yeah, it's all next
I'm just
week.
underclassmen.
Under her.
Compared to you, yeah.
On Monday, you have senior exams, 3040 regular classes for underclassmen, and underclassmen exams start Tuesday.
Okay, there we go, Tuesday. And then spring sports are wrapping up and AP tests kind of went throughout like the beginning to middle May. And I think those went pretty well for a lot of students. And prom went very well. It was gorgeous this year. The theme was the Verona Affair. It was amazing. And then for senior stuff, the top 10 breakfast was on May 14th at one of the churches, and it was held by Rotary, and we got served some really good food for breakfast, and they gave us little gift baskets. And then senior supper was last night, and it went so well. It was very fun, and all seniors in attendance received a gift card. I personally got a Deb's gift card. Shout out to Deb's. And I love Debs. And senior finals started today, and baccalaureate is this Sunday at Christ Church from 2 to 3. Seniors have marching practice all next week, so seniors, make sure you are there. And class day will be next Thursday. I know
Mrs. Gould will talk about that a little bit, but seniors it's like a mini graduation and we've received some scholarships and recognition for some activities. It's in the gym.
And
And
also a really sad presentation
It's a
that they
very
play
sad
with all of them
slideshow.
as children
Baby
with sad
pictures,
music.
yeah.
It's really a big tear fest.
yes, and then after class day for a bigger tier fest, we're all gonna walk through our elementary schools one last time. Those are so
that.
cute.
I
Oh,
love
that's such a great thing.
So I will be visiting Pittston again. And that is all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, oh. Oh, change. Let's see, general information has written. Good. Nominations.
Yes, as written for our second year probationary contracts and our continuing contract.
Yeah.
So we had some names and movement that were omitted from our last agenda, and that's what you see for A and B. And new hires, we have Rebecca Duquette, targeted reading support teacher, starting at $51,786. Angela Sear, special educator for our STEPS program for next year, starting at $67,738. Rebecca Duca, moving into a math teacher position at Gardner Area High School, $56,087. And Kelsey Frost as a literacy interventionist, Title I teacher at Riverview Community School with a salary of $79,242. I'm nominating all of those people for next school year.
So I move we approve those
As a bundle?
as a bundle. I'm sorry.
Second by Megan. Any questions or comments?
They all say 25, 26.
The reason, I'm so glad that you pointed that out, that is it on purpose. Phew. Because our teacher's contract has not yet been ratified, we're using those salaries to reflect what would be the salary next year, but we know that that will change once the contract is ratified.
Hopefully soon.
Yes, indeed.
Good question. Okay. Motion and a second. All those in favor? Okey-doke, thank you. New business.
Yes. Would you come to the podium? Isaac didn't know to expect this, but I'm really exciting new business. Isaac Boyce is standing at the podium. Isaac is currently a sophomore at Gardner Area High School. He was one of 5 students to apply for and interview for the position of student representative on the school board. He was our unanimous pick. He had stiff competition, a great group of interested leaders at the high school. We're actually looking to create leadership opportunity for the students at the high school, recognizing that there is a strong need there. Isaac, we are so thrilled to seek approval to name you as the student representative, joining Ella next year on the MSAD11 school board. So would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, Isaac? I did not tell you to prepare for this.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Go for it.
I'm 16 as of about a week ago,
Happy birthday.
maybe 2, I don't know. And I'm a part of 2 sports teams, boys soccer and the track and field program. I'm also a part of the music department in 2 ways. I am stage manager for the musical and I participate in concert band each year. And I look forward to trying to help out where I can, speak what students might be thinking, and they might not be able to come to these meetings every time. Just look forward to joining you all up here.
Isaac, you're very involved in the community and have racked up quite a lot of community service hours. Do you know how many hours you have currently?
92. That's what my transcript said.
Principal is double checking.
I know. Thank you, Ruth.
So Isaac, all of our criteria and had a very strong interview. And
Yes, he did. Oh, it was great. He came prepared, ready to answer questions. He had a white buttoned up collared shirt.
He had questions for us.
He had questions for us. He came for the job he wanted.
Yeah.
And he did a really great job of representing himself and the student body. It was great.
What was the question you brought?
One of the ones I remember is the environment like here working with the school board.
What was the most challenging question you got from them?
I don't remember.
In the dark of night.
That was a pretty simple question.
You also asked a really good question of like, what does success look like for a student school board representative?
And something about opportunities, like within the board, yeah. It feels like that was so long ago.
I know, right?
Yeah.
This week has been
week?
so foggy.
Not last week for sure.
I think it's a vote. Okay. So we would entertain a motion to vote on Isaac Boyce becoming our next student school board
I
member.
move that we have Isaac as our next student rep.
Second by Janelle. Any questions or comments for Isaac? All those in favor? Welcome.
Awesome. Congratulations, Isaac.
Yeah. That was easy. And this is the atmosphere. Okay. Approval of Gardner Robotics trip to Worcester Polytech.
Yes, so our robotics club is looking to go from June 5th to June 7th to the Worcester Polytechnic Institute. They would be transporting themselves with their parents and guardians. They plan to leave the high school around noon and return on the 7th in the evening. We have about 13 students attending with 5 chaperones. And it's funded through their fundraising efforts and their activities account. And they'd be planning to stay on campus in the dorms. It's their competition.
Motion to accept their trip.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Extended school year.
Yes, so just a brief update. Extended school year for identified students will occur this summer, spanning for weeks starting in June through August. The program will happen at LER this year, as it has been for the last couple of years, and will include school and community-based components and include related services where appropriate for students. Parent letters are starting to go out this week, letting families know our plan. We have dedicated staff prepared to work ESY this year and already starting to prepare materials for summer programming.
Excellent. Next is something we do every year, and that's to grant the superintendent authority to issue contracts during the summer, so we don't lose good prospects.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Second, yeah.
What was the second?
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Great. Board chair report. I have a little something I want to speak about, but I promise it won't be long. I can be wordy, you know that. The vote for our budget is coming up in 5 days. It's tricky when social media becomes our source of news, and we are, we've talked about that before. This is not a disciplinary message in any way. However, it was brought to, I posted graphics that Andrea made, and I made them public for everyone to see, and there were some comments and questions, most specifically about special ed and how special ed works and how it gets paid for. And the buzzword things. So I did my best, and Andrea also chimed in. But one of the things that was brought to our attention this morning or today, early in the day, was that some board members had chimed in on one of these messages and suggested that that we cut athletics, just cut it. And I took it as sarcasm and not serious, but it was hurtful and offensive to someone, and I believe that it was never that intent to do that. But I want to remind us that specifically, BCA is our code of conduct and letter H in that, and that is that once a vote is taken, we graciously accept it. And it's our job right now to be out in the community, whether we voted for the budget or didn't vote for the budget. It's our job to be out in the community, representing the decision of the board and the direction that we're going with this budget. And it was hard, and it was not a unanimous vote when we voted to within the room. But it is the budget that we hope will pass, because this is where we are, and we're gonna spend our summer making a budget if it doesn't pass. And we all know that all of us who sat and worked through this have really come to understand what's contractual, what we can do, what we can't do, and that there's a formula that we have to follow. So it's really important that we convey that as much as we possibly can to our community members, so that, and yes, it's expensive, things cost more than they should. We all believe that. So let's be careful with how we word things, and because our words matter. And the second thing I want to talk about quickly is that we have a new superintendent, and she has lived through her first year, and change is hard. And so I want to make sure that we're supporting our superintendent, and if we have things to talk about, we should talk about them. And not go outside of this room to do that, but to create space where we can talk about things. And we're gonna do that when we do your evaluation. And I think it's also really important to support our administrators, our administrative staff that has worked they bring us the things that we have to do within the budget. And I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they don't teach you how to lay people off in school. And that's a thing that you have to learn how to do when you work in public education, or when you have any kind of government job. You have to learn how to do hard things that you never thought. When you thought you were going to be a teacher, you thought it was going to be fun, or a principal. This is going to be fun. But then when budget time comes and you've got to make some really hard decisions, nobody taught you how to do that. So I would like to encourage us as a board to give grace within the community when we might hear people complain about how things go. Let's stand up and support each other, because that's what we need. And that will make us stronger together. We will be better together if we're stronger together. And that's all I have to say. There's my report. Moving on. Superintendent's report. Voting day is Tuesday, the 9th.
Is
Don't
this
forget.
June 11th meeting?
Thursday, the June 11th meeting is when we will accept the results of the voting. And that will hopefully be a joyful meeting. Otherwise, we'd see a lot of each other. And superintendent.
Yes, so just
You have a
briefly,
lot of things.
but I won't read them all. Central office summer hours, it is hard to believe we have made it through the year almost, and we are looking at summer hours kicking in as of June 22nd. So that is coming right up through August 14th, and those hours will be Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Fridays we will be closed to the public. There's almost always somebody here, but we will be closed to the public on Fridays beginning the week of June 22nd. Graduation tickets, I handed out graduation tickets. If you ordered them through Martha tonight, you got your envelope of tickets. Please let her know by tomorrow, the absolute last day, to let Martha know if you're planning to attend graduation and would like tickets. Tomorrow is the deadline.
But we don't need tickets. Oh, they need tickets.
And then on the agenda, there are just some important dates, end of year happenings in each of our buildings. I won't read through the whole list because the list is unchanged since the agenda was posted.
And so the information is available for anyone interested, but we have so many, it's a great time to be around in our schools because we're celebrating everything.
All of it.
And that is my report.
That was fast.
Yes.
That's a lot of words. Well, we've come to that time. Everyone gets to go home. Except the board.
Motion.
Thank you so much for coming tonight, everyone. Being here and being part of it.
Friday flyer with them tonight for after graduation.
Do a motion for
Yeah.
Looking forward to
Hey
graduating.
guys, have a good summer.
Thanks.
Hi. Well, your bag even matches your dress.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, exactly. Can I take my name? Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
We're gonna make a motion. We need a motion to go into executive session to do.
Am I supposed to still be sitting?
Motion to enter
To go into
executive
executive. Sorry, stereo. I moved to go to executive session to discuss the hiring of a new principal at Easton Randolph Consolidated School according to 1 MRSAA 4056A.
Second.
All those in favor?
Okay.
Excellent. Barry, we're getting you out on time.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice, look at
Good
that.
Well
evening.
done.
Bye, Barry.
Take care.
See you soon.
Okay, we're back online.
Can I make a motion that we hire I'm so sorry, hire Ira Mishu for the Pittston Randolph Consolidated School Principal position.
Second by Megan. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Thank you all. I can't wait to work with you.
Welcome.
Congratulations,
So glad
Ira.
you're gonna be here, Ira.
I move
Okay,
that we
you want
go,
me to-
sorry, go ahead.
No, did you want me to stay until after all the executive
You
session?
do not need to. It could be a little while, but we'll be talking tomorrow.
All right, great, thank you.
Thank you, Ira. Welcome.
Thanks. Have a good night, everyone.
I move that we move into executive session to discuss hiring of a new principal at Helen Thompson School.
A second?
All those in favor? Excellent.
Harry's tonight. Yes.
I'd like to ask for a motion
I will
to,
make a motion to hire Kim as our Helen Thompson School Principal.
Second.
any further questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carries. Welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. I look forward to working together.
Great.
Great. Okay, and you said I'm all set, right?
You are all
Meet us
set.
in-
Drive safely home tonight and I will plan to speak to you tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Nice to meet you all.
Welcome.
I move we go into executive session to discuss confidential records.
Sorry, we could do that, but I think the order is contract negotiations.
That one got
So-
scrapped.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm looking at a different one, thank you.
Who was the second? Sorry.
All those in favor? Okay.
Nothing's in that, the executive session had no vote.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing to
Yeah, there was
complete?
no
What'd you
action
say?
taken.
Oh.
Are we on? Okay, no action was taken in the.
It is already done, is what you're saying.
Gotcha. So just.
Move that we go into the fourth executive session to discuss the superintendent's evaluation and contract.
Second.
All those in favor? Do we anticipate